Well, hey everyone, welcome to June.
It's June already.
It is
Except
June.
except though it really does feel like the past few months have been forever.
I know. And I admit I'm not even sure when in June this is going to air. But right now it's not June,
When we're
so I'm
recording, it's not.
excited to talk about June.
This is Hillary, by the way.
Oh, and this is Jenny. It's nice to meet you all.
Yeah, it's good to see you guys. Or
Yeah.
it's good for you guys to listen to us.
My dad says, I'm excited for you to see me. So it's like we're excited for you all to hear us.
Right. It's very exciting to us. We don't know how you feel, but we hope it's mutual that we all want to hear us. So we're doing something a little different, which hopefully will be at least until next May, a monthly feature for most months at least of the shows that we've been to in each month. So we're going to discuss a little bit about the shows we've attended in the month of June.
Yeah, we'll just have a little fun with it.
Yeah.
Would you like to maybe mention what you are drinking before we get going?
I am drinking my last bit of Screwball. It's just a little bit left, but it's going down during this podcast.
Need a glass. Why dirty a glass? You haven't been using a glass.
I used a glass last night, and I actually do have a glass in front of me. I'm just not using it.
I am also drinking Screwball from a relatively new bottle that I have in a glass.
So I just had this memory of, because I thought I could just finish off the bottle in like one shot, but I cannot.
That was more than a shot, for sure.
Yeah, I have this memory of you being in Virginia and us sitting around the campfire with your husband, and I'm like, I'm gonna finish off this bottle of Fireball, and he was like, that's more than one shot. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's like, yeah, it is. And I'm like, I don't think so. And it was like, holy crap.
It was, the bottles are deceptive.
Were on fire.
Big bottle is a little, it looks little, but
yeah,
got a wide circumference.
But luckily I'd had enough to drink at that point of the night that I was...
And you weren't driving anywhere.
No, I wasn't driving anywhere.
Good.
That was such a fun night.
It was so much fun.
Do that again.
This is Jenny. My family, we would travel in a motorhome over the summer. So we took our motorhome to Hillary's hometown. And we camped out, and she came and camped with us. And we saw the historical sites of Virginia. It was such a blast.
Busch Gardens.
Yes, the historical sites of Virginia.
Oh, right. Busch Gardens.
Busch Gardens. That's
and Italy and Ireland and all of Germany and all the places in there, England.
Exactly. It was great.
Yeah.
Hey, before we get into the June concerts, let's remind people to go to our website.
Yes, please go to our website.
Yeah, thegardentarts.com, and you can sign up for our newsletter.
Yeah, I signed up for it.
Me too.
Really?
Yeah. We've got a good handful of new signups. I hope people keep signing up. We'll send that out, just a few times a month. Not a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But we'll keep you up to date. And if there's anything
eventually
special,
we'll have exclusive content in our newsletters where you're not going to get that information anywhere but our newsletters.
We just have to create that exclusive content at some point.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
Everything else that we've said we were going to do, we've done it. So we'll just make that happen too.
It'll get there.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, let's start talking about June shows. I don't even know what I'm going to say about some of these.
I'm going to start off with...
Go for it.
I think I told this story... I did tell this story in a previous episode, but I'll revisit it shortly. The first two shows I ever saw in June were June 18th and 19th, 1997 at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum in Oakland, California. And I went there because I was supposed to go to a show in Raleigh, but it got canceled because of weather. And Adam Clayton gave me a exclusive tip before the news and press and everything got it that Oasis was going to open for them in Oakland. He was like, you should go to that. And I'm like, okay. And I did. And I added another, after that, just on the whim of going to Oakland, I added another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I added another 5 shows to it. June 21st was at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum in Los Angeles. And then I went all in one trip. June 25th was Camp Randall Stadium in Madison, Wisconsin. So I covered a lot of territory and used a lot of frequent flyer miles. And then I went to 3 shows on June 27th, 28th, 29th at Soldier Field in Chicago. And Jenny was there for...
I was there for the June 27th and 28th.
Okay.
Just those are my 2 June Pop Mart shows, both in Chicago.
Yeah.
I was going to say that if you're traveling from the East Coast to the West Coast for one show, you might as well do more. But then you ended up in Wisconsin.
Right.
They weren't even all West Coast.
I mean, I had to
shows.
work my way back east.
This is true.
Yeah. I was going that direction anyway. Well, that was a really long trip for me. It was 11 days. Well, I mean, I got there the day before, so it was 12 days of travel, 6 shows in 12 days.
Wow, yeah.
I was actually, it was 13 days because the day I was supposed to leave, my flight got canceled and I had to stay overnight. The things I remember, obviously, I remember vividly the 2 Oakland shows because of Oasis. The second show in Oakland, for a really long time, a very long time, I said it was my favorite show ever. But I've had a number of shows, like, kind of take it down a few notches. But it was in Oakland that was the first time I think I had heard All I Want Is You, and it was a surprise. It wasn't part of the it wasn't a normal part of the set, and we all I mean, I don't think I screamed, but I think I gasped, like I couldn't believe it.
That's your song.
It's my song, and I smiled and I cried and I had all the emotions, and it was awesome. That show also, Edge did his karaoke bit that was usually
Sweet Caroline?
Daydream Believer.
Oh.
He did that, but instead for the second Oakland show, he sang, if you're going to San Francisco, be sure to wear flowers in your hair. And somebody gave us flowers. Someone from the crew gave the people around the rail at the B stage flowers, and we put them in our hair. And Los Angeles, I don't have a ton of memories of. I remember Los Angeles and Madison. I think it was the second show at Soldier Field. Why I remember this stuff, I don't know, because I can't remember what I did this morning. But I remember the 2 highlights about that show were they played New Year's Day, I think, for the first time of the tour, or at least the first time I heard it.
It was the first time of the tour, yeah.
Okay. And Ed just sang Sweet Caroline that night, where every other night he sang Daydream Believer.
Nice. I was going to look and see. So I was at that show on the 28th. On the 27th, interestingly enough, I just looked this up. That was the last time they played If God Will Send His Angels. Which is interesting because it wasn't long. It became a single.
Right. That is really interesting.
Really interesting. First night on the 27th, Edge also sang Sweet Caroline.
Oh, okay.
I'm just looking at this
right about that on the 28th, he sang it?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And the New Year's Day bit.
Yeah. Yeah, and I vividly remember New Year's Day, too. That was exciting.
Yeah.
And I don't remember a whole lot of the last Soldier Field show. I have to tell you, when I was done with that trip, I was done with that trip.
Done. I mean, oh my God.
I was so sick of living in a hotel room with like 8 people and just being covered in everybody else's sweat. And I was like kind of over the, like I wasn't really, I mean, I did it because all my friends were waiting for the band after the shows, but I just kind of wanted to go to bed. at that point. But that's a clear sign that you've been to too many shows
Right.
in a row, because I was just like, get me the crap out of here. Like, if I don't think I had a ticket to the third show, actually. And someone gave me a ticket. Someone in security gave me a ticket. And I was like, really? I was okay not to go. I was gonna like take a really long shower while everybody else was out, but that never would have happened. I would have been devastated if I missed a show. But it was in the back of my head, like, if I don't go, I'll live with it. But it was a great show, and I obviously have no regrets. But I did not have a ticket, and I was not actively looking for one, and it just kind of fell in my hands. Anyway, so the next June show I went to, the next 2 June shows I went to, I was with you as well.
Yeah.
They were Elevation on June 14th and 15th, 2001 at the MCI Center in Washington, D.C., which is now Capital One Center. It's had a million names. But anyway, MCI Center. Those shows were, I think that for one of the shows we had a spot at the tip inside the heart, and one we had at the tip outside of the heart.
Isn't it one of those shows we were at the platform outside the heart?
Yes. The second one.
Yes. That was not a good night.
No, that was not a good night.
That was actually the night I thought that my fandom was over.
I was pretty sure about that too.
Yeah.
It was just an ordeal. There was a lot going on, and
there was a lot going on.
It was just a lot going on, and it just kind of seemed like at that point this was a lot more anxiety, and than sometimes it was worth. We were totally wrong about that, but it was like for one night, for a little while, for like 3 months, we were just kind of like, yeah, we're not doing this anymore. And then we got back into it really hardcore.
Well, I then went to 2 other shows in June.
Oh, after that? Really?
I have 5 shows that month. That in 2001, I was at Albany on June 2nd, and then the MCI Center June 14 and 15. And then I was at East Rutherford in the Continental Airlines June 21 and 22. I did a lot of shows on Elevation. Oh, this is fun. What date was this? On June 21st, Bono dedicated Stay to Baz Luhrmann.
Really?
Yeah, who directed Moulin Rouge, which is one of my most favorite movies of all time.
He has a movie that's coming out, I think delayed because of COVID. I can't remember what it was, but I was so super excited about it. I'm going to look that up. I just remembered.
That night, he did a snippet of Shag Tobacco, which by Gavin Friday, which I need to go back and listen to because I don't remember that. And I love Shag Tobacco. I don't remember who I would have been at this show with. The second night in New Jersey was the first time they played Wild Honey and The Ground Beneath Her Feet. They did both of those? Daniel Lanois joined them for Wild Honey and The Ground Beneath Her Feet.
Really?
Second night. Yeah.
Baz Luhrmann is making a movie about Elvis.
No. Oh, I heard this.
And Tom Hanks is going to play Colonel Tom Parker.
Of course he is.
Yeah. I just got chills. I was reading all about it like last week or something, about movies that are delayed because of COVID. A lot of really good movies.
That is going to be the greatest thing. I think that we should invite Bono to go to that film premiere with us.
In Memphis.
Yeah.
Let's just make it happen. I've never been to Memphis.
I've never been there either.
But we've been saying for 20-some years we were going to go.
But to see, Baz Luhrmann and Elvis? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We're doing that. We're going to
cry.
At least we're going to see it together.
Yes.
Didn't we see Moulin Rouge together? No.
I don't think I saw that in the theater.
I did, but I don't remember the circumstances. For some reason, I thought I saw it with you.
I think the only Baz movie I've seen in the theater is Australia, because I feel like Moulin Rouge was already on DVD when I started that love.
No,
but, my memory is like a sieve, so.
Right. I definitely saw. No, you know what? I'm gonna have to say, I am like 85% sure we saw it together.
Really?
Yeah, in Cleveland at like an old movie theater. It had like the I don't know, when I was a kid, we don't have movie theaters like this anymore, but it had the old fashioned like you, where you got your ticket. It was like
Mm-hmm.
an actual ticket kind of thing. And I don't know, it was an old movie theater. I'm pretty sure we saw
It
that
was an
together.
old movie theater down the street from me.
It was, hold on, what year was that? It was in '01. I'm pretty sure we saw that
Oh,
together. Doesn't that make sense?
yeah.
Because
Huh.
I think I was definitely there in '01.
Right.
I'm pretty sure about that. It was somewhere near your old apartment.
Okay. I'll just believe you on that.
Yeah.
I have 0% memory of that.
Let me add this. One of the
Yeah.
things I remember from those DC shows for Elevation
Yeah.
was that I called you when I got to town. I drove from North Carolina. That was a long ass drive. And I
Yeah.
called you, and some man answered your phone.
Because I left it in a taxi.
Yes.
He was
And I'm
a
like, Jenny? And he's like, no. And I'm like, who is this? What did you do with Jenny?
Oh my
And then
gosh.
somehow very shortly after that, you must have gotten your phone back shortly after I talked to that guy, because it was very soon that I found out what happened.
He charged me the airport price to bring it back to me.
So how many shows was it in a row that you went to?
Well, I know I went to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in June of '01. If there were any between those that I didn't go to, I don't know. Oh, there are a bunch. Yeah, so those weren't 5 U2 shows in a row. Because like I went to Albany and then there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 before. God, they were touring like friggin' crazy. And then the 2 in DC, and then they had 2 in New York that I did not go to, and then 2 in New Jersey. They had 14 shows in 1 month.
Wow.
That's
So they were
oh
young.
my,
We were
yeah,
young.
yes. Whew, '01 was a ginormous year. And then my next June show wasn't until 2015. Do you have one before then?
Yeah, I do. I have. Oh no, that's right. I'm sorry. I thought I would. I thought there was a show that I was missing, but I found it. For a second, I'm like, no, don't tell me that. Still, I like that I was in Dublin for my 60th show.
Yeah, right?
This is what I was gonna say. I looked at this list only a few months ago, and it said 59 shows, and I'm like, oh my god! I know. I've been to 61 shows, and it said 59, and I'm like, oh my god! Like if I miscounted, holy crap, this is bad. But then I realized I never put Dublin in.
Ah, there you go.
So anyway, that's the story I wanted to tell. That I almost had a heart attack because I was pretty sure my numbers were spot on, and they are. But anyway,
Yeah.
yes, I went to 2 shows in 11 for 368 on June 22nd in
Okay.
Baltimore and on June 26th in East Lansing, Michigan. So the Baltimore show, I don't remember a whole lot about that except that it was hot as shit. Like
Yeah.
I've never queued for a show where it was that hot before. I mean, like, I don't know why I did it. Like, it was that hot that I was, like, after the show, I'm like, why did I even go through that? I mean, it worked out, but that was one long day, really. And then the following show was in East Lansing, Michigan, and I went to that with Garden Tart Amanda. It was really funny because we stayed in this. I'm remembering the show was amazing, and I remember there was some surprise in the show, which I look back and I can't find what was a surprise to me. But there was something that was a surprise, and I went like, and I started choking. And Amanda's like looking at me like, anyway, it was a really, really good show. The surrounding events of that show were also friggin' amazing. For some reason, the roads in East Lansing were just all under construction everywhere you went. And they like consolidated a 4-lane highway into 1 lane, and you just had to hope that there was no one going in the other direction. So we were just playing chicken basically every time we drove down this road. Yeah, and there was at our hotel, which the hotel was fine. I mean, it wasn't a nice hotel at all, but I mean, it seemed clean except that the bed had some, I don't even know what it was. It had a piece of metal sticking out of the frame.
Yeah.
If you didn't see it, there was like undercovers. If you didn't see it there, you could get hurt very badly. So we had to put the luggage stand over that area so that nobody walked by that part of the bed, because I mean it was we also paid,
you don't need
like
a sign of tetanus with your show.
No, we also paid something like $50 a night divided by 3. So it wasn't, and it was fun. The hotel was fine. I mean, it looked like in its day it had been an amazing hotel, but it just needed a fresh coat of paint and new beds. But that show was really good. The other thing about it was that it was Jenny and Amanda have a friend who went to her first U2 show, and she was just kind of chill about it. Like she had no like expectations or anything. She was just totally chill. And Amanda was like, I think Shelby went to the bathroom or something, and Amanda was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm under so much pressure. Like, what if it's just an okay show? And at the end of the show, Shelby's like, meh.
Right.
Like, it was okay. No, at the end of the show, Shelby was sobbing.
Aww.
So it was like, okay, that was a good show.
That worked.
There was also, oh God, I can't even believe I'm saying this. There was a guy behind Amanda, I think, that was missing an arm.
Yeah.
And he kept like slamming into her. And she wasn't sure what, like, poor guy, obviously he had been through some trauma in his life.
Right.
But I don't think any of us thought it was appropriate to say, dude,
right.
Chill.
Like, what's the polite thing to do?
Yeah, I hate
stop
that
slamming into me, and I'm sorry you don't have an arm.
I had not thought about that probably since that day until now. But everything about that trip was just absolutely hysterical. Like, they picked me up from the airport and we passed 8 Mile, and I was all excited about seeing the sign for 8 Mile, because Eminem, and it was just a great trip in general.
That's awesome.
And then my next June show was, I didn't have anything in 15, so you go ahead.
Yeah, I had one in 15, and this was actually a surprise. I mentioned that my family, we travel in our motorhome over the summer, and we travel for many, many weeks at a time. And this year was a tour summer here in the States, and I knew I had some stuff coming up in July. So for June, when we were gone, I just didn't even look. I refused to look at where they were going to be and what was going on, because I just wanted to tune out and be in the camping world with my family and not know. Well, we were going to some state parks in Indiana, and the next night we were going to be up in very northern Indiana, and then about an hour from Chicago. And then we were actually meant to spend the day in Chicago coming up. But I looked at Instagram, and this was like right when U2 had really started using social media. It was like sporadic, or at least Instagram and stuff. It was sporadic. Someone posted a picture of them setting up at the United Center in Chicago. And I'm like, no, I'm going to be an hour away. I'm like, fuck, I'm getting us tickets. My husband's never seen them. The girls have never seen them. They're young. I tried to pull out all the stops that I could, because I didn't want to risk buying scalped tickets. I called everyone I could, and no one could help, rightfully so. And so I ended up buying, they weren't Scout, they were on StubHub, and they weren't crazy expensive, but I was not going to miss a chance to take my family to a show that was right there. In hindsight, it was crazy, and I really am just so thankful that they just went with the flow. The girls were, let's see, it was 2015, so Sadie they were 5 and 7, which was little. For Sadie, it was a very expensive nap. Very expensive. Grace remembers a lot of the show, but she did end up falling asleep at some point. We had nice seats that were about halfway up, kind of like we were on the stage end. Like if the band was on the stage, we were looking at their backs and kind of their sides, but we had a really, really nice view of the bear cage and everything. It was really great. They played Gloria that night. It was the first time I'd ever heard Gloria. And also something really cool was that they played All I Want Is You When I Called You, and I cried.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, they played Lucifer's Hand for the first time that night.
They also played that when we saw them in July at Madison Square Garden, right? So you heard that song twice.
Yeah. Oh, another cool historical thing is that is the day that the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that gay marriage was the law of the land. So Pride was dedicated to the occasion, and One was dedicated to the occasion. It was just very cool.
That was just a very exciting day in history in general.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, whether it's a good event or a bad event, it's just totally magnified at any two shows.
So true. Those shows are really special. I just have one show left. How about you?
I think I have 4.
Okay.
But they're all together, I think.
Okay.
My next show was June 7th, 2017, Joshua Tree in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I was there.
You were there. That was an amazing show.
That was so amazing. This is my last June show. I know you have a few more.
That was a great show. It was just the Garden Tarts.
Mm-hmm.
No one else there. And we were front and center under Bono's mic, and It was just a fun, kind of carefree night. I love that. I love that show.
So carefree. The Lumineers opened, which is like a dream sequence for me. And remember we got interviewed by the news, but it didn't make the news.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That was fun. It was definitely past the time.
Yeah. That's just a good place to... I just love going to Pittsburgh for shows. We just do so well there.
Always and forever. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's just always a good time. My next show was June 20th, 2017 at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland, which everyone just calls DC, but really not DC.
Yeah.
It's where the Washington football team plays. Anyway, I went with my brothers. That was also an amazing show.
Yeah, that was a good one for you.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that at some point, but it was really great. That Pittsburgh show though was just...
It was just fun,
and it was like home, and like we all were just where we wanted to be with who we wanted to be with.
Yeah. When
we wanted to be there. And like I feel like, how many moments do you get to say that in your life?
Yeah.
Actually, I have a lot of those, but mostly concert. But really, it was just a fabulous trip.
Yeah, it was just everything, other than the fact is that we couldn't find anything to eat after the show.
That's true. God, I'm just remembering that now.
It hurt. I was so hungry. But it was just perfect.
Yeah. Then I had 2 more shows.
And that was my first Joshua Tree show. So.
Oh, okay.
I have 3 total, so that was really special. That was the first time I heard those songs.
That was my second Joshua Tree show.
Because you went to the opener.
Yeah. And then Pittsburgh, Landover. And then... No, you went to 3 shows, didn't you? For Joshua Tree? Okay.
Mm-hmm. I said 3.
I'm sorry, I misheard what you said.
That was my first.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like, my math doesn't add up with that, Jenny.
Because we were together for all of them.
Right. So my next shows were June 17th and 18th, 2018 for E&I at Capital One Arena, which was the same place we saw the 01 shows. It just has a different name. In Washington, D.C. They were great shows. It was a bad week for our country. I think it was the week that they released like videotapes of the children at the camps by the wall in Mexico.
Yeah.
The border. And it was, I somehow missed most of that because I was getting ready for this show, but it was a hotbed of kind of raw emotion and politics going on for those shows, but they were really good. But yeah, so the most recent June shows were the E&I shows, and they were very good. I have good pictures. I made friends at that show. Those were, I don't know, really good shows. All of those E&I shows have like such a special place in my heart. Every one of them. And I'm not sure what there was a huge difference in those shows to me.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
I mean,
we all felt it.
Yeah, no other indoor tour has hit me like E&I did. No. That's for sure. I mean, I had moments at stadium shows, but never arena shows that were that close to my heart.
Me neither.
Yeah, but that was a good time. So I can't wait until our next June, whenever that is, that we can add more shows to the list.
Exactly. Let's get it done.
But that was it. But we will do this from now on.
Yeah, we'll go down memory lane a month at a time.
Month at a time. We don't have anything in January or February because it's cold.
Yeah, right.
Do that. None of us are into that apparently. So we'll take a break for that. But we have shows every other month.
Yeah, we'll have fun.
Anyway, great memories.
Yeah, thanks for traveling on this musical journey with us.
Musical journey. Good night, everyone.
Yeah, good night. And until next time, bye. Hey there, listeners. If you're a U2 fan, you are more than likely aware of the work that Bono has done and continues to do in Africa. It's amazing work, and the exciting thing is you can get involved too. There are 2 simple ways. 1. Go to one.org and sign up to fight against extreme poverty. 2. Visit red.org to shop. What? Shopping helps? It sure does. By purchasing Red branded products, you are contributing to the Global Fund, which supports HIV/AIDS grants in many African countries. As your man says, where you live should not decide whether you live or whether you die. So head on over to one.org and red.org to join the Garden Tarts in doing our part to end AIDS. Also, we love hearing from people and chatting with people, and of course, we love talking U2. So you can drop us a line on Instagram or Twitter at _Garden Tarts, or you can even email us at wearethegardentarts@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you soon. If you enjoy this podcast, we would love it if you would share it with your other U2 loving friends, as well as leave a review for us on whatever platform you use to listen to podcasts. We would really, really love that. May your music be loud and your whiskey be strong. Until next time, cheers.